Gentlemen, here we are. In fact, Luther, tell us what's going on today.
Well, today we're at the Rotary Water Plant here in Freeport, Bahama. And this is our past Assistant District Governor Mike Stafford, who is the operator of this facility.
So it's commonly called the Rotary Water Plant, but the technical name is the Grand Bahama Emergency Water Relief Foundation. When the idea came to the island, people were afraid that we were going to hurt people and we'd have liability issues. So what we did is we founded a government foundation, and that protects the operators and everybody from public liability. We also have public liability insurance because we have fire, theft, and insurance as well. So this came together because past international president Barry Rassin was involved with it, and he's in the Rotary Club of East Nassau, which is in District 7020, and a past member named Miles Pritchard, who's a Bahamian, who had joined the Rotary Club of Santa Monica, California in District 5280. His club wanted to do something with water because at the time the president was Wilhelm Stein from Denmark, and his focus was water and sanitation. So they wanted to do something with water, and Barry suggested that they do a water project here because we get hit on Grand Bahama in the northern Bahamas by hurricanes, and our water comes out of the ground here, and after a storm hits, the groundwater gets saltified, so you can't drink it anymore. So we came up with this idea, and the Rotary Club of East Nassau put in money, District 7020 put in money, 5280 put in money, and all told there was $95,000 worth of Rotary money. And at that time it was only 5280 and 7020, no funds came from 6990 yet. And then we had a very generous donation from the TK Foundation, who you would have seen when you were on Sweeting's Key, helped build all those houses. We're in phase 7 now. A TK Foundation rebuilding 16 homes. So they put in money, and all told it came to $217,000. So what did we get for that? Well, we got a hurricane-proof building. The walls are solid, thick, 4-inch concrete. We have a 5,500-gallon tank that we store our water in. We got these water trailers. Some have turned up missing. We got a bunch of water tanks that we towed around, and what we do with these water tanks is we take them into the communities and let people just fill door to door, or we park them in front of the Red Cross or the Salvation Army or different apartment buildings that need water as well. We also got, the heart of the situation is a reverse osmosis unit. This comes from a Fort Lauderdale company, and it produces 7,500 gallons per day. Now, after hurricane, the power's off, the water's off, so we have our own well, and we have our own generator, and we started off with a 20 kW generator, and during Hurricane Dorian, we could not keep up with the demand. We were the only source of water for the first 8 days. There was no other water on the island except for little bottles like this. So people were coming from all walks of life and getting their water from us. And we couldn't keep up with demand. We'd actually have to shut down the outside fill stations so that we could get water in the tank. So we put out a call that we needed another machine, and 6990 came along and said, okay, we'll fund another machine. And what we did is we got an identical machine to this, but we hung it on the wall this time, because when we entered the water plant after the storm, we found that the water had been in here. And coincidentally, or by the way, all of the other water companies on the island, they got flooded out. So when they got flooded out, their equipment was no longer usable, but they also lost their government registered sanitation certificate. So that means that they couldn't give out water until they were re-inspected. Well, also all the restaurants in the island pretty much got flooded as well. So there was a tremendous renewal of sanitation certificates, but we never really got that flooded in here. We never lost our certificate. So we were the only source of water. So 6990 donated the second machine for us, and then we found out that the 20 kW generator couldn't run both machines at the same time. So I put out a call. I was in the super yacht business at the time, And I put out a call to a yacht captain who I knew, and he put it forward to his boss, who's the new owners of Walker's Key, which is in the northern Bahamas, and they fully funded a 30 kW generator, which you see sitting there. So now we have a backup 20 that can run one at a time, and we have the 30, which you heard running earlier on when you were filming. It runs both of them. We also have all the spare parts needed to fix these machines, and the unique thing about these machines is there's a lot of non-proprietary parts. So a lot of it you can just go to a hardware store and get. You'll see PVC fittings here from any old hardware store. Some of the more technical brains and things of the sensors and that we have, and we know how to fix them too. We also got, behind Luther, we have all kind of spare fittings and parts. In the attic we have more spare stuff, filters and other parts up there. This is basically our muster station for Rotary after a storm, because we really don't have a Rotary clubhouse on the island. So pretty much everybody meets here. I'm usually the first one here after a hurricane, and we have outside fill stations that we can show you so that the public doesn't need to come into the building. They can fill their jugs outside. And we also invented a gravity feed system. So if by chance the generators don't work, we can gravity feed once there's water in the tank. What that also means is that throughout the night, we can open the gravity feed system, and people that are working in the shipyard or any of the 24-hour-a-day jobs, they can come throughout the night and fill their jugs as well. So we've adapted to the community. Long before Rotary International said, Rotary needs to partner with other service organizations, we were doing that. So with the women, the ladies from the pilot club would come before a storm and help us sanitize our gallon jugs and things like that. And then we would also give the Kiwanis Club of 8 Mile Rock a trailer or a tank, and we'd also park one of these in front of the Lions Club building. Because after all, this is, yes, it was started by Rotary, but it's actually the community's water plant. And we're pretty proud of what we've done. Our first big one was Sandy, and we gave away 100,000 gallons. We thought that was pretty cool. And then our next one was Matthew, and we gave away 200,000 gallons. And then in Dorian, we gave away well over 300,000 gallons. And we can tell that because we have a logbook and we have an hour meter, so we know how many gallons per hour the machine produces and how many hours it was running for. And we were operating and giving away water to restaurants up to 18 months after Hurricane Dorian, when finally things started getting back to normal. And what that did is it let the restaurants operate, and they would use the water for not only cooking but also for sanitary purposes, and including flushing toilets and things like that. So Rotary really has a big name, not only from water on the island, but also from all the work we've been doing rebuilding people's homes after the various storms. You would have seen the homes in Sweetings Key. There's homes all over the island, and back in Hawksbill here, which is close to this. So we actually acquired a bunch of new members throughout Grand Bahama Island from people seeing what Dorian has done. In fact, our president was a Dorian survivor, and somebody came to our door and gave her some food supplies and offered assistance, and it was a Rotarian, and she ended up joining Rotary. And then we had a fire program in Sweetings Key, and the 2 firemen came out there, and one of them was so impressed with Rotary that he actually joined Rotary too in our club. So membership on Grand Bahama Island is crazy. We're really, really strong.
That's fantastic news. Mr. Luther, what would you like to add to this?
Well, I think Mike said it all. I mean, the only other thing he did not mention was that in Sweetings Key, not only did Rotary build homes to get people back to Sweetings Key, but they also provided boats and engines for the fishermen to get back to work, which enabled them to get the community, start building the community back up, because now they were able to get an income, because most of their boats were destroyed or lost in the storm. So, in that light, Rotary has really come up big time in the rebuilding after Dorian.
That's wonderful.
Because most of the people in the eastern end of the island are fishermen. And if they're not fishermen, they make their living off the water, either bone fishing tours, which is very lucrative, and they, like Luther said, they lost all their boats. So we did a lot of stuff with that.
Man, that's fantastic. Really quick, you're saying this device and all of the parts are easily interchangeable, which is great.
Yeah.
Not proprietary. That's a good thing as well. Trust me, it looks like a science project,
Yeah.
right?
It
In
is.
bio class. I hear drips and stuff. What's happening now while it's in operation?
It's slowly
Bleeding out?
bleeding out. I do have a drip over here in the back that I got to repair. There's always something to do. The 20 kW generator right now won't start, so I'm going to take the starter apart later on today and see what's happening. But there's always something to do here.
Excellent. And over here on the wall by the office, you were looking for something? Plaques and such?
Yeah, we got an award from a district governor for being the best project of a certain club size. There it is. In 2008. It took quite a time to get this project started because we needed the land. And the land that was donated to us originally was deemed not to be a good location. So finally, the Grand Bahama Port Authority, who is our quasi-local government organization, they donated this plot of land. It's not as big as you see outside. Every time I have Rotaract around, we expand it a little bit. And then we started building this facility. So we're a legal entity, and these are the three clubs that were mostly involved in it, which would be the Rotary Club of Santa Monica, who wanted to do something with sanitation, and then the Rotary Club of East Nassau, which is Barry Rassin, and Lindsay Cancino, who's probably going to be the next district governor announced soon, and then the Rotary Club of Freeport. Mostly the people who did the work here were the Rotary Club of Freeport, myself, and a gentleman named Sonny Waugh, who we all affectionately call Mr. Rotary. He's now passed away. And then the other thing about this is we have cooking facilities. We have a basic first aid kit here with a resuscitator, and then AED here, which I'm actually almost a paramedic, not certified, so I know how to use that. We also have a past president, Elsie, who knows how to use that. But then in here, we have more advanced first aid gear so that we could even stitch somebody up. We have a burn kit, we have all kinds of stuff, and we got food. So that if we need something, we got it.
Excellent. Quick tour on the outside?
Quick what?
Give us a tour on the outside?
Sure. So one of the things out here is the outside fill stations. They're actually a more modern system that's not here. It's at my office. And what this does is it means that people could come and fill their jugs
Excellent.
in the middle of the night.
At any time.
Yeah. There's also another system on the other side for 4 more.
And there are also fill stations inside.
Yeah.
And right away, I can fill up and drink.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's ready to go. It's ready
Yeah.
to drink. And it's actually very good quality, excellent
Yeah.
quality water.
Yeah, we're some of the best water on the island.
And this plaque you're showing?
That's a plaque thanking the people that were involved in the project. We had the Draftsman, we had Bahama Rock, which is a mining company on the island, and they donated a lot of the fill. And then Bahamas Hot Mix drilled our well. Bradford Marine, which is a company I used to work for, did a lot of work. Freeport Construction and Aggregates, they did the roof and things like that. Gold Rock Concrete Products, those who make the walls, and they're like, you'd call that a tilt-up in the States.
Okay.
And then there's a lot of Rotarians over here. We are structured, we have a board of directors. I'm just a director, but we have a president, we have a treasurer, we have a secretary, we have a legal office and a lawyer's office, and he's actually the secretary of the foundation. And that's
awesome.
basically in a nutshell.
And this was not the first choice, not first choice, but first location, but yet here we are.
Yeah, no, it turned out really well.
Fantastic.
We also can fill the trailers from outside here. We have a system in the side there where we pull the trailer up there, we can fill it. And generally what happens is those are going non-stop, being filled and all around the island. In Hurricane Dorian, we supplied water to the clinic in 8 Mile Rock, and what we would do is every morning I'd get up and I'd pick up a police officer who was stationed at 8 Mile Rock but lived in Freeport, and I'd take 3 of those trailers you see connected together, and I would fill their big water tank that they had, and then that way the clinic could operate. And then we'd leave one of the trailers outside so that people from the neighborhood could come and get their water as well.
That's awesome. First thing I was going to ask is, besides the restaurants and the hospitals,
Yep.
you were direct supply to them.
Right. Now, since then, well, what happened was, it was funny because there was a clinic over here we were giving water to in a smaller tank, like a 10,000 gallon tank. And then there was a clinic at 8 Mile Rock that had a 10,000 gallon tank. And then the main hospital in Freeport called me up and said, Mike, can you come fill our tank? And so I went down there and they got like a 50,000 gallon tank. And I said, this is a little bit above us. But I actually helped them set up a water maker system of their own. So they now have their own water that they make right there in the hospital.
Awesome. I was going to ask if they were an influence on other institutions as well.
Yeah, and then the unique thing about this is when this project came to Grand Bahama, I knew nothing about reverse osmosis or anything like that, but I learned a lot. And it just so happens that in Hurricane Dorian, with the well fields being inundated with salt, the local utility company, which you can see across the road, there's one of the well fields, they needed to set up their own reverse osmosis system. So a Rotarian from Nassau called me up, and I just made a presentation to their club, and he said, Mike, I know you've been dealing with the rotary water plant for 14 years. We've been given the contract to run the 3 million gallon a day for the utility company. Do you happen to know of anybody who could run it? So that's what I actually do now. I left the yachting business, and now I run a 3 million gallon a day reverse osmosis unit, and we're setting up another one at another well field for 2 million gallons, and there's probably going to be one over there soon for 2 million gallons as well. So Rotary got me my professional job, even though I work for Rotary, and I volunteer at the company that pays me.
Clearly the catalyst on both fronts.
Yeah.
And the other water plant, that's what I mentioned I had seen. We had driven past.
That's the one I showed you when we were going to East End.
This is awesome. Well, firstly, Luther, you didn't let us know that you were past president.
Yes.
You know, he's so bashful. I always got to pull it out of him. Like, who
That's
are
'cause he's
you?
not wearing his Rotary pin.
Speaking of pins, again, my name is Saheem. I represent the Pompano Beach Lighthouse Rotary
Thank you.
Club, and I brought a pin just for you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Very own, with our name on it and everything. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This is great work. Great opportunity. I'm so proud to be a part of this organization. I think it's going on 6-7 years for me in the Lighthouse Club, and I'm sure I speak for everyone in Pompano Beach that we are so proud of your efforts, so proud of your accomplishments, and love to be able to support whenever possible. Allowing me to record this, I will take this home, share it with everyone else, and guess what? We're doing great things. We were just talking about other clubs and other associations over our meal that congregate, and you see them wearing their shirts and jerseys or whatever else, but the question is, what do they do? What's their purpose? As opposed to just status symbol. And we, or all Rotarians, are not a part of that mantra, so to speak. But service above self, that's what the gospel is that we are all sharing.
So,
Now, any resources online or phone number? How can people get in touch with you?
PowerPoint presentation that I do quite a bit.
Yes.
And I can do it online on a Zoom call to your club if you want.
Fabulous.
Yeah. And it talks about the other stuff we did in East End and all. And I presented at the convention in Sao Paulo and Seoul, Korea. Did a breakout session. So I'm not sure if I'm going to go to Singapore, but
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see if the need is there.
yeah,
Excellent. Well, thank you very so much
Okay.
for your time, my friend.
no problem.
Awesome. It was a pleasure meeting you just by
Yep.
chance at the party last night.
Yeah.
Right.
Christmas party. Awesome. All right, sir.